I'll be so glad when the sun goes down.
So my response to the 13th Amendment is how slavery was reborn in another way, on like how prisons took over like the slavery and stuff. I don't know, they put people in like prison for no reason and kept them there for as long as they want without a jury or nothing. So yeah, like my like theory for the 13th Amendment was how everyone's getting treated differently. For every one from 17 white kids, one kid will go to jail, but from 1 to 3 kids, one black person would go to jail.
So my response to the 13th Amendment is that slavery still exists in the same form it did back then. So what I mean by that is slavery still exists, but in a different form. So instead of a slave and the master, you have a prisoner and a prison guard. So the prison guard keeps the prisoner in check, just like the master kept the slave in check. And they do work for little to nothing. They still have to be fed and kept well, I guess. Still have to kept alive, basically what I'm trying to say. And I feel like we shouldn't have this anymore. The system's broken. Like, it shouldn't, how you say, still shouldn't be around. We shouldn't be using other people to benefit off of us.
Sometimes I feel so like my response to the 13th video is that it really opened up my eyes to how white America is still kind of like around these days through the government, and it's just sad to see like racism left, but it never really left, and it came in different forms such as the Jim Crow laws, or even today's prison system. It just attacks a lower class, which happens to be minorities of races such as the African Americans or the Latinos and the Hispanics. And it's just crazy to see how that we can be in a new age with all this new technology and new beliefs, but we're still carrying the same old beliefs that we were before in the early 1900s.
I think that it's got a new definition today, but I think you could rationalize that we have a form of slavery.
Slavery was abolished officially. It doesn't exist anymore, but there are many people that are deprived of the opportunities that some others get.
Yes, I do believe that slavery still exists in very subtle forms and clandestine ways. One major one is sex trafficking, which is very, very damaging. And it is sometimes undetected, and it's just a very serious crime against humanity. That would be my main offer. Also, there's a little bit of slavery involved when people are paid low wages, or if we have employee theft where the employer doesn't pay the person what they agreed to pay them. That's a form of slavery, I believe.
I think it's increasingly unjust to society. It affects society in an unjust way, and it affects the inmates very much in an unjust way.
I feel prison should be for rehabilitation. You send somebody to prison, generally you just make them a better criminal. They're not going to come out wanting to go to college, not wanting to learn a trade. They've been treated badly. They probably came from a bad background. The justice system goes hand in hand with what the prison population is doing, growing, heavy minority. What's happening? Why is it that the same people are getting sent to prison? For how? I think we have a great court system and a great government, but there are always going to be flaws, and we should never lose sight that if there is a problem, we need to not ignore.
I believe that the current prison system in many ways is just. There are some injustices there, and I believe that whenever prisoners are threatened by other prisoners, or when there's harsh punishments of when they're put in isolation, or if they're not allowed to exercise, or if the food and medical attention is not adequate, I think that's very unjust. I do like the idea of community service that's given as part of a replacement for prison or for jail time. And that would be a form of that constitution where they do allow community service in place of prison time. And I think that's a good thing for crimes that are not major. I believe the justice system, in many ways it's good, but in many ways there are abuses. And I think that sometimes, in the case of Maricopa County, there was some abuses there with the previous sheriff, and it was very unfair to the people that were under that jurisdiction at that time. Overall, I think the attempt is supposed to be fair, but there are glitches in the program. There's glitches and there's different things that cause problems and that are unfair and that violate human rights.